Okay, so let's talk about Sadie's training so we can stay consistent at home. So when we are working with Sadie, we definitely want to continue to reward her when she's doing the correct behavior. Now you can reward her with praise, petting, or treats, but for a while I recommend sprinkling treats in there. That way she is earning treats to do the commands for you, and she's having fun while doing it. Then we have her training equipment that we're going to use to stay consistent and follow through with our commands if she chooses not to listen to them. So let's talk about heel. Heel means walk next to me on a loose leash when you take her for a walk. So 85 to 90% of your walk should be in the heel position. She'll be on your left-hand side with a loose leash, and it's very structured. It prevents her from pulling and making sure you have a nice, pleasant walk with her. The other 10 to 15%, you can tell her free. Free is the release command, which means she can go sniff, go to the bathroom, and kind of explore at the end of her leash, but she's still not allowed to pull, but she gets more freedom than just having to be in the heel position next to you. So how do we stay consistent with that? We have her prong collar, which we're going to put on her, and we're going to attach the leash to the D-ring here. We want no constant tension in the leash. So if you see a constant little triangle, we are not holding the leash correctly. We want to make sure it's nice and relaxed and loose. So you attach the leash to the D-ring. Now we're walking with Sadie next to us. She's doing a really good job, but she starts to try and walk ahead and pull a little bit. We're going to tell her no, heel. So we're going to tell her no, pop the leash, and then remind her heel. And it is a quick pop and release flick of the wrist to communicate with her that, hey, that's not the correct behavior right there. You want to back up and walk at my pace. That's how we're going to stay consistent with the leash while we're walking with Sadie. Then we have her remote collar, which we're also going to use this to stay consistent because this leads to off-leash freedom because we're able to communicate with her from a distance and not with a leash. So on her collar, we have a little red dot, and then on the remote, we have a matching red dot. We're going to touch these two together because it's a magnetic key. You'll see a green light. Green light's on, charged, ready to go. It'll flash green every few seconds to let you know that it is still on. And then we're going to turn the remote on, back button here, push and hold till the screen lights up, and we're going to focus on the black S button. So we have Sadie wearing the remote collar right here. So we're on a walk, she's doing great, and she starts to try and walk ahead. Well, along with the pop of the leash, we will also press the black S button. She starts to pull ahead, no, heel. So no, push the button, remind her heel. It is just a little tap, a little uncomfortable, but it's not meant to be scary or painful for Sadie. It's just letting her know that, hey, that's incorrect. Heel is what you should be doing. And then when she is doing a good job at heel, we're going to reward that and encourage her with treats, praise, and petting. So that is how we're going to stay consistent with all of her commands. When she's doing a good job, we're going to reward that. When she makes a little mistake, we're going to communicate with her, hey, that was incorrect. Here's the correction, and then do it right the next time to earn those treats. So let's talk about sit. Sit means stay until she is told free. Again, the release command of you don't have to be in that command anymore. You have a little bit more freedom. Or you can tell her heel. Like let's say you're practicing door manners. You have her sit, you open the door, you can go through it. If you're going to go through it without Sadie, you want to remind her sit because you're almost like telling her, hey, stay, because if you just walk through it, she's going to follow your body language and just assume to walk with you, assume you want her to heel next. So remind her sit if you want her to stay. Go through the door, and then tell her free to come through the doorway with you. Same thing when you stop on your walk to tie your shoe, have her sit, and then remind her sit as you do the distraction of tying your shoe, because if not, if you just move, she will just assume to move with you. So you want to give her a reminder of saying sit, almost like you're telling her to stay. You don't have to say stay because it's implied until she is told free. So if she gets up from the sit before you tell her to, no, correction, sit. If she stays like she's supposed to, good sit, good sit. You can give her a pet, you can give her praise. Whatever is deemed necessary in that moment. It depends on the distraction level. If there's a lot of distractions and she's doing a good job, I definitely give a treat. If there's minimal distractions, you can just use praise or petting to reward her. Then we have downstay. So every once in a while, you'll need to help guide her into the down because she will have distractions and be a little bit, not confused, but a little distracted and might not exactly pay attention to what you're telling her. So if she does, and you tell her down, down means lay down and stay. If she doesn't go down, no, pop the leash, just a little flick of the wrist down and remind her down. Again, stay is implied. If a distraction goes by, you're going to remind her down while the distraction walks by. Let's say you're at a store and you have her in a downstay and someone with their cart walks by. Remind her good down as they go by. That way she remembers what she's supposed to be doing. And then, of course, reward low when she does a good job. If she gets up from the downstay, again, black S button, no. Maybe tug the leash down a little bit, down. It's always no, down. That way you're giving her a reminder of what she should be doing and making sure she follows through with your command. Then we have place. Place means stay on the boundary, so you'll take her to the bed. All 4 feet have to stay on the bed. She can be sitting, standing, or laying down as long as all 4 feet are on the place. When you reward this command, you want to make sure you put the treats on the bed, so when you have guests come over, remind her place, they come in, take their shoes off, get comfortable, and then when you're ready to release her, always go back to her, to the bed, to tell her free, never free from a distance, because you want to encourage her to wait there until you go and reward her and then tell her free. Because if you just free her from a distance, she will just assume when you're about the distance you normally free her to just run and jump off, and then your stay is not as strong. So always go back to her and reward. Then we have come when called. So when you practice come when called, always have a long leash on Sadie when you're practicing, like a 30 to 50 foot leash. That way, if she doesn't, you can reel her in to show her, hey, when I call you, it means come to me the first time. So when she is free, you'll tell her free to explore. You call her to come to you. Sadie, come. If she does, great, reward. If not, no, come. Repeat that until she comes to you, and then you still reward her when she comes to you, because she got her correction out there. You want to make sure you communicate to her, hey, when you come to me, it is always a good thing, so you definitely want to reward her when she does get to you. And then back to place real quick. Whenever she gets off of the bed, no, correction, place, and then show her back to the bed using the leash if needed. If not, she'll usually just fix herself. And then we have leave it. Leave it just means don't get that off of the floor. So practice with dog safe foods. Drop a few pieces on the floor. Tell her leave it. If she goes for it, leave it. Leave it is a correction word in itself. So you don't have to say no, but you can if you want to. So those are Sadie's commands. It's important to have fun with her. You want to reward the behaviors you want to keep seeing to increase the rate of those behaviors. So the more you reward, the more it'll happen. The more you correct, the less it'll happen. So make sure you follow through with each command. Have fun, stay consistent, and now we're going to show you Sadie's commands.
Heel. Good job. Free. Sadie, come. Free. Sadie, come. Down. Good girl. Good down. Down. Good down. Good down. Good job. Good down. Free? Good girl. Leave it. Free. Okay. Hey, you stepped on it. No, slow it. Look. Okay. Good job. Free. Leave it. Good girl. Free. Okay. There you go. There you go.
Okay, so let's go over the other features of Sadie's remote collar. So we know how to turn the collar on. Let's turn the collar off. So you'll turn this off at the end of the day. You'll see a red dot or a red light happen. So you're going to touch the 2 red dots. We're going to turn that back on. So it can last about 2 days on a charge. The on-off button, you just push and hold that until the screen is dark. So we'll turn that back on. So she can wear this all day, every day, 12 to 14 hours a day. You want to make sure she wears it every day, even if you don't plan on training her a whole lot, because you want to make sure you have the ability to stay consistent. And this is just a part of her life. This isn't a negative thing, it's a positive thing. It means she has the ability to get treats, and it's just a way for us to stay consistent. We don't want her to be scared of this at all. It just goes on like a normal collar does. So we have gone over the black S button. Let's go over the red S button. So the red S button is for emergencies only. It is a boost feature, so it will actually go up plus 25 levels. This is for emergencies only. Let's say you're having fun with Sadie and you decide that she's practiced enough, you take her off leash, and all of a sudden she darts for the road and she's not listening to your come command. No, you've tried level 25, now it's time to try level 50. What happens is sometimes dogs' adrenaline jumps up, so their normal level works when they're right around here, but it doesn't work when their adrenaline's up here, so we have a button to match that if and when needed, but we have not needed that yet for Sadie, but you have it just in case. Then over here we have the T button, which is vibrate. So it's just going to vibrate the collar. What I like to do is make sure when I turn the collar on, I push vibrate a couple of times to make sure that I turned the collar on, because sometimes you can just nick it and turn the collar off, and then it's not going to work. So you want to make sure that this is on before you turn it on Sadie. And then in the future, maybe 6 months to a year down the road, you can use this as a warning, like, hey, she's doing pretty good, but hey, you know, make sure you walk slower, make sure you're not whining, make sure you're not getting, you know, jumping on people, whatever it is. If she's doing pretty good at something but needs like a little reminder, you would use vibrate. So then we have the level 25 is where she's at right now. Now this can change. So how to change it? This dial is locked in. So how to unlock it? You can push down and hold, and then the 1D will start flashing. So then you can adjust the level lower or higher as needed. So when would you need to adjust it? Well, if Sadie is like really flinching at the level, then it might be a little too high for that scenario. So for example, she will have different distraction levels with different places that she's at. At home might be less distracting than out at the park. So you'll adjust it accordingly. Right now, 25 seems to be working well for her. If 25 seems to be too much, turn it down to 20. 25 isn't enough, turn it up to 30. It just depends on where your environment is and if this is working or not. And then you'll push down and hold it once you're at the level you want to make sure it stays in place. So then we have the on-off button again, is also a light. So if you just tap it, you'll activate the flashlight on the remote collar. So tap it to turn it off. So tap once and it's a flashing flashlight, tap again, it's a solid flashlight, tap one more time and it is done. So, and then there's a little M/C button. You don't have to worry about that button. It just changes from momentary to continuous, but don't worry about it. So we have the charging port in the back here. This will last about 2 days on a charge. So I would not leave it on the charger overnight because you'll eat up the battery. It usually takes a few hours to charge. And then real quick, her prong collar, you'll just hold one prong steady, and then you're going to take the prong that's ahead of it and you're going to push down and follow through. So it's about technique, not strength. Then squeeze it to put it back together. So you hold one steady, grab this, push down, and follow through. Then to put it together, squeeze this prong. You can't shove it through the top, you have to squeeze it. And then again, we always attach the leash to the D-ring. We never see this tight triangle. It's always nice and loose, and then pop and release as needed. So then in her box, we have the original strap that her collar came with. Right now she has the bungee quick strap, which just makes putting on and taking off a whole lot easier. Plus this bungee makes sure that the collar is not going to be too tight. She does have the extended prongs on, but if you cut her hair really short, you can use this tool to change them back to the little prongs. This is her charger. to charge both the remote and the collar at the same time. And then we have her instruction manual to go over all the buttons in greater detail. This collar does have a 2-year warranty, so if anything happens to it, you can get it replaced. The contact info is on the box there. So if you have any questions, let us know. But again, with Sadie, you just want to have fun and stay consistent.